they don't realize how extensive a rape kit is. According to endthebacklog.com, it can take 4 to 6 hours for a rape kit to be completed. So seemingly a victim does everything he or she can do to help authorities find their perpetrator. They call the police, they undergo extensive examinations, they endure skepticism, and then what happens? In a lot of cases, nothing. I want to bring in Katie Nida, a sexual violence survivor. Katie, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you guys for having me on and for covering this important issue.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Katie, a lot of people may recognize you. You're the first woman to score in a major college football game. But during that time, you say you were a victim of rape. You chose to come public with that story, I think, 3 or 4 years later. Tell us why you chose to come forward at that time.
Well, for me, I ended up deciding to come forward at that time because I did not go straight to the police right after my initial assault happened. I waited about a year and a half, and after meeting with police, prosecutors, and so forth, I decided that the best route for me to go would be to tell my story, because at that time at the university, there were a number of other women who had come forward saying that they too had been raped, and the university wasn't really paying any attention. So I was able to hopefully bring a little more light onto that.
You know, Katie, it takes courage for a victim of sexual assault to come forward as a victim. It must be so devastating to know that you're coming forward to the people that you expect to protect you, like government officials, like police officers, people in your community, and then to know that they're not actively pursuing your case and having these backlogs.
Absolutely. I think that that's one of the most crushing things, is that we expect those who are in authoritative positions, we expect those who are supposed to be protecting us to be there for us. If you are a victim of a crime, you expect that the proper resources are there in place to take care of you. And to have that not happen is just, it's devastating.
And Katie, Yasmin talked about courage, and I want to follow up on that by asking the following question. What finally gave you the courage to come forward and talk about your experience with the authorities? And in a two-part question, what would you say to people who, there are reasons why people don't come forward? What do you say to those doubters who say, well, just because you don't report it right away doesn't, it didn't happen? Talk to us about your courage and what message you'd have as to why you just didn't feel at the first time it happened that you would just come forward and talk about it.
Yeah, I think, the reason why I didn't come forward initially is because I was completely shattered. When you are raped, your sense of self, your security, your bodily autonomy, everything goes out the window. It's like your world is turned upside down. And, it's fortunate now that we are having more conversations about sexual assault and rape. When I was raped 10, 15 years ago, we still weren't talking about it quite as much. And really what ended up propelling me to go forward and to tell my story was other women. I was very lucky to have a platform that I could speak on, and I wanted to make sure to get that story out there because I was hearing from so many other victims who had not told anybody before, and really just to let people know that they aren't alone. And I think that's the biggest thing. This issue, it's shrouded in darkness, and the isolation you feel as a victim is just incredible.
Yeah, Katie,
your message is incredible, Katie, so we thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Thank
Katie.
you.
Hey, Joey, real quick, is there a statute of limitations on rape cases? We have 400,000 backlogs for this sort of thing.
Right. It varies from state to state, but what you're seeing is a lot of jurisdictions eliminating statute of limitations. And I know when I was in the Manhattan District Attorney's office, we were actually indicting John Doe's so that it would preserve the statute of limitations. So it's a major issue, and it's one that really the government is working very working on at this moment to address issues that really are traumatic in this whole community of sexual assault.